Going down on it and coming back on it the same way. Second step is a little rap with this one finger here that goes to that thumb. See that finger and thumb?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that thumb and finger there, they pick together because this is a 5-string banjo. And all of you watch it now. All of you can remember this first step where you ought to take it and make that, and it'll sound that on your brain cell. And after you once to get it sounded on your brain cell, you'll have to remember it for 10 years when you hear it. You know it every time.
You get them all playing.
Yeah. Now, you want to try a little shot there now?
I can try it. I don't know if I can play like you right away. You'll have to.
Well, you see, you just
be
thumb and
patient
finger the thumb. Wait just a minute till I let them get to step one. Now go ahead now.
We'll come with you. Okay, we'll see if I do it real quick. That's it?
That's it.
I got it. Of course, I can't do much else with it yet.
Yeah.
That old man could work circles around us.
Just would he like? What was it? Would he like get up early or something, or what? How
No, it
would
had
he
to
do it
do
night
with
or?
economy of movement.
Okay. No.
He had work. Well, you got to look at it from his point of view. You know, he had so many different professions through the years. I mean, he was a TV repairman and a bicycle repairman and a locksmith, and he had all of this knowledge. You know?
Right.
And so he was a man who was so accustomed to working with his hands and in unison with his mind. He was able to do it, but he was always able to work around us like a little tornado, just as running around all of us and doing everything at an incredible rate. I hope as an old man that I have that energy. I would love to think that I could carry on. So Howard was 65 when I met him. Oh man.
And then
his body might have been 65, but he was ricocheting. So wonderful. I haven't looked at it in a long, long time. He would write in the little stuff, because he would say you must always read between the lines when you do text. Between the lines. Well, I'll tell you what he told me how he got started as an artist, but I it's hard to say. He says that he got started as an artist because his head got so full of stuff it was about to explode, and he knew that he had to let it out, I think he even used some analogy like a valve or something. He had to just get it out of his head. And but as far as how he got started as an artist, he just started making stuff, and word spreads when you make stuff, especially like what he made. And so it wasn't any time at all before the artists in Georgia, especially Georgia artists, began to embrace him, and which is a wonderful thing for him, because he was not just considered to be this eccentric minister anymore, but he actually had found his people or his audience or whatever. He had finally found people who understood the creative impulse. And I'm sure that was a big deal. I mean, look here. Here's the first page of his self-published book, and he talks about how there's this artist named Andy Nassis, who's a very, very highly regarded American clay artist who has become friends with Howard, and so Howard felt that was so important, that he would put this in the book. I mean, it must have been a marvelous thing for him, having been an eccentric all of his life, to finally, like I said, find his people. I mean, I'm sure that meant a great deal to him. He loved artists. He was crazy about artists, and every time, one summer when I was up there, Andy Warhol called him. And when he got off the phone, he acted just completely casual, like, this fellow named Andy Warhol called me, and we talked early today, and I was just, dying a million deaths because I knew who Andy Warhol was. He also had told me that he had talked on the phone with some guy named David Bryan who wrote him a check to make him some artwork for his album cover, and it was David Byrne of the Talking Heads, and I said no, and I was like non-believing, and Howard said here, and reached in his pocket, and he had the check. He'd been holding on to it for a while, and he's sure as hell he had a check. It's crazy. I love how he just took the big, impressive stuff that we're all impressed with, and to Howard it was just this man called me some Smithsonian man or whatever. I would be a nervous wreck, but he just treated everybody the same. But it was in the early 80s, and which was a very heady time to be up there, because there was the connection with the Talking Heads and REM and all these. I mean, Howard was exploding in the art world during that time. I mean, he was receiving phone calls from people all over the world, and he was always fascinated by that. He'd go, "You're not going to believe this, but somebody from Argentina called me today," and
Did he do a lot of world traveling?
I don't know if Howard ever went anywhere, but he kind of didn't have to go anywhere, because he, had been off, in outer space for 200 years and had spawned generations up there, and which he talked about a lot back then. I don't know if in the latter years of his life if he talked that much about it, but that's what this book is. This book is a vision of 200 light years away, space-born of 3 generations, from Earth to heaven of heavens. He swears by it. I'd been there for a very short time, and we'd worked real hard one day, and we were late. He had bought a trampoline for his grandkids, and I went and laid down on the trampoline. He came out there and laid down, and it would turn dark, and the stars were appearing in the sky, and he pointed up to this star, and he said, "That's where I come from." And I thought originally that what he was saying is him being a Christian or whatever, that maybe that he was saying that heaven was there or whatever. And then he starts telling me that he had been abducted, or it sounded like an abduction, that he had been taken up and had spent 200 years in space and then instantly zapped back down to Earth, and no time had passed. And we read about these alien abductions, and it sounds to me like it very much parallels that. But yeah, he wrote this book and put it together while I was up there, and gave me this copy of it, and it's a crazy, wonderful little thing. I don't think it could be simply written off as a product of an overly active imagination. What appealed to me the most about it is, having grown up in Alabama and had a lot of organized religion shoved down my throat. I'd never thought about the possibility that somebody could take Christianity and then tie it in with all kinds of space alien stuff, and sort of have this incredibly rich belief system, and he definitely had that. It was, and there was also, besides that, there was his life to some extent sort of had a druidic quality, because he definitely had a lot of, as a lot of people who were raised in the country do, a lot of nature worship, and he also had almost a Zen Eastern quality to a lot of the stuff that he did and said. He definitely could really freak you out with a lot of his taking country expressions, but having them operate on a level of being almost like some kind of Zen metaphor for life. And he used to use those a lot, especially when on his grandsons. He was all the time amazing them with strange little situations that he would present to them, to where they were forced to think about the spiritual implications of a simple day-to-day activity.
His lifestyle, all the grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and so the friends today, we are here to give our last respects and our honor to a person that we dearly love.
Howard wanted his garden to have a voice. That's why you see the plaques of the Scripture and the Word of God put up everywhere within it. Howard wanted his work, as people's curiosity grew and he began to sell pieces out of the garden, he wanted his work to have a voice.
To be able to spend that time with them. That's
I
great.
feel like it's a miracle. I mean, we didn't know anything about Minister. We just came down here and met him, and he just put us to work for God and changed our whole life.
He's changed a lot of lives.
You know, I mean, and God did it, but he brought, Howard was special in bringing those people together, you know, because, you know, we were talking about how everybody looked to Howard for guidance, and now, you know, here, look what's going on in the world, and like now he's gone, you know, and everybody's, you know, everybody's realizing it's like, hey, it's up to all of us now, you know. I think there's definitely a torch that's being passed at this moment in time. The people that are like the old timers out here that are like saying, I'm getting ready to go on to the next world, and you know, it's up to you, you know, to keep it going. You know, I've had several people actually say this, you know, it's like they put it in your hands, like you, or you know, with young people to like, you know, keep putting it out there.
It's called Ruha Dada.
Drink some water in there.
Yeah, I got my truck is, I have a big 24-foot truck, and I just drove it up a hill, and I got my back, stuck where my tires aren't grabbing. I got to get it pulled out. It's $85, really. I got some yellow pages, but I'm just can't do it for 50. Oh, really? And that's just okay. Okay, well, if you get here really quick, I'll go ahead and pay that. I'll pay cash.
said, I know.
All right, what's been going on the last 7 years? It's been 7 years since the hoo-ha-da-da.
7 years?
7 years? Wow. Well, I think we went through some sort of a time warp door thing because it don't seem like it's been that long.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Well, we branched out. We got this little girl. She's been in 12 states. Ain't regretted a moment of it.
We've had 2 art cars.
2 art cars. We got the new art car, which is the Holy Rolling Rocket. Well, let's see. We got already that Coming Home show. That's in the Museum of Biblical Art up in Manhattan right now. We have that. Matter of fact, we have the only Elvis piece in the entire show, and they said they could not have a show on self-taught art, the Bible in the South, without an Elvis. And there it is. There's only one king. And then we brought the companion piece to this one. Right here, this big Elvis over here on the wall. That's that piece is the there's only one king because I got this crown up here, you know. But then, you know, and Christ is the king. But then it's also called the American Badass because I got American there, and there's badass right there.
Christian first, American second.
That's right. We're Jesus Christians, not Bush Christians. We don't get too many car bombs in Kentucky. Yaks far and few between. Diplomacy is a graduate high school, and a firefights when you pass around Jim Beam.
Thank you, Michelle. Good to see you this year.
I'm selling out this year. It's my Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, how about
She did let you go. The last 7 years, it's been 7 years since the hoo-ha-da-da movie was made and people started using the word, right? So, do you have anything to say about the last 7 years?
fantastic? Rockin', rollin', love big.
It's been 7 years since the first hoo-ha-da-da movie.
It's simple because 7 years ago, when I first came into the group of the Hoo-Ha's, I guess you could kind of say, I didn't even know you're supposed to bring a tent to a show. I didn't know. I brought 13 pieces of art. It was so funny because I walk in and I had no clue what I was doing. Danny, the bucket man, comes up and he's like, "Hey, is this where you're supposed to go?" And he's like, "You don't even have a tent." And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "So take my spot. I don't need, mine can handle rain. I don't need a tent." And so he gave me the place underneath the chapel over at Howard's, which was so awesome because then it was protected the whole weekend because we had huge rainstorms. So we've endured that and pigeons flying out from there. It was so funny because when I pulled my tarp out for my artwork that next day, it was like a big, huge row of pigeons were just flying after me. So I'm running down the Paradise Gardens with people just dying laughing the whole way. It's pretty cool.
What else has been going on with your work?
We've had all kinds of crazy things happen. We've done 6 books. We've illustrated 6 children's books, which has been amazing. It's been a lot of fun. and working on some clothing. We're trying to get a clothing line out right now, and there's going to be some models on a TV show that's going to be using some of the clothing and some of the artwork that's going to be in the set.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So, and tell us about your space where you're at over there.
In Conway, we have this great space in Conway. It's over like a 100-year-old building, and it's 2 floors. It's just, it has such character, and it's really brought this town into this, I think it's been a big part of it being an art district area, and we've had 10 galleries come in since. So it's been awesome to watch this whole place turn into a little art town.
Do you have a favorite piece here today?
Yeah, come here. She's like one of my favorites. She kind of shows the new beginning of what my life's going through right now, and I think that's kind of fun. You always see yourself metamorphosize, I think, in time. And this is my new change. In the process, I changed my name through it, and it's Kimberly Dawn now instead of Kimberly Clayton. So, of course, a new day. See?
I've been working on the building. I've been working on my building. I've been working on my building. All you got to see, look around me. I've been working on this building. The building of joy, the building of peace, the building that peaceful within me. I've been working hard on my building, a building for he. That's me. I'm Mary, you see. I'm working on a building, you see. Not made by man hands, but I'm working on a building made from the man up above. Whatever he got for me to do, hey, these hands will do it. Hey, hey. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Put it under a bushel, no, I'm gonna let it shine. Put it under a bushel, no, I'm gonna let it shine. Put it under a bushel, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Yeah, that's got the camera, man. What's going on? We've got a new deal going on. It's too hot, and it's 7 years old now since the last first movie was made.
Is it?
Yeah.
7 years old?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're on fire, man. We've gone legit. We got probably the most popular website for folk art on the entire web. We have a lot of programs underway. We got a store now where people can buy online. We're seeking 501c3 non-profit status. We've come down off the mountain. We're coming down off the mountain and we're taking it to the streets. We're learning what Thomas Kincaid showed us. It's all about corporate. We're going to find the dollars. We're going to make it happen. It's going to be folk art hoo-ha from here on out.
You're blinking, man. You're on fire.
I'm alive.
You know, so it's people like Eric Legee,
Right.
Brian Dowdall, you know, myself, Dr. Bob out of New Orleans. You know, all we need is 10 or 20 artists.
If you had to say, what would be one a thing that might be your main motivation for doing your art? What do you think that might be?
Well, I always see stuff in things discarded, living trees, bushes, cloud. You know, your imagination takes hold. But when you live in a decadent city as New Orleans, where people just flat don't give a damn, and when floods flood your house and you throw out your furniture and it's constant recycling of our city due to, you know, the humidity, the storms, the floods, this, that, and the other. People throw away a lot. It's a disposable society. And I try to get the good back out of what they're throwing away. It was like in an interview a while back, I said, the funniest damn thing is pick a piece of trash up off the street one day and then do something with it, and a month later see it hanging up in somebody else's house 2 blocks over, you know. Same piece of art, but it just took it to another dimension, you know. And a lot of that's just, and I live on the river. I was raised in the swamps and the bayous and what have you, so living on the river in New Orleans, I sit there and like lament about the logs passing me that I can't go get. And recently I've been climbing underneath the wharves and getting the overflow from the floods. The driftwood is stuck all up in the pilings, and it's been up there drying for a year, and it weighs like it's feather light instead of like wrestling a 500-pound piece of wood trying to get it up the bank. Right. I climb around under there and sneak by the DEA agents and the Harbor Patrol and whoever else, and the Navy, whoever else, and try not to get caught under there. And float my stuff downriver and catch it at the industrial canal. I dislodge it, or have somebody down there with a stick, or I put a jug on it, like milk jugs, and they'll know that's the piece to get. And it's, you know, I'll stay up under there. It's nice and cool under there too. And the heat in New Orleans, you're like, you know, 10 feet below the docks on the riverbank, up 20 feet up from the edge of the wharf, back up under there, and there's a lot of interesting things happening there. Homeless feral people have taken over that space. 25 years ago, my first venture under there, I was people camping, living, and it's kind of neat. Yeah, it's like a whole nother world.
Now which river? That's
Mississippi.
That's Mississippi. Okay.
And pretty dangerous under there too. You know, you never know who you're gonna run into, or what their attitude is, or what drug or alcohol they're imbibed on. So it's kind of weird. And then you got to deal with the authorities. They catch you under there, they immediately suspect you of smuggling or doing some type of illegal activity, and they don't understand why you're walking through all these pilings with 2 big long tree limbs, you know, trying to get out of there. They don't understand that, you know. So you just don't tell them. You tell them something. You don't tell them the truth. You tell them something ridiculous, and they'll buy that, you know. You don't buy the fact you're taking this piece of wood out to create a piece of art out of it, you know. And you tell them, oh, I'm bringing some firewood home or something. Or the best one is, ma'am, you know, you married, officer? Yeah. I said, you know, I'm out doing this honeydew thing. The wife's into this Martha Stewart crap. She needs this thing for this thing, and I'm out looking for that thing. And he goes, dude, I sympathize with you, you know. And that kind of works a lot. I say I'm out on a mission for the wife, getting some piece of wood for her flower arrangement class or something. You know, BS your way in and out of the trouble you get into. And it shouldn't be no trouble, but you got to respect people's jobs and authority.
River's what?
It's in a big circle. You know?
The river's where? The river's over there and the river's over there?
Yes. Goes in from St. Charles Avenue. It runs from river to river, and the river just kind of goes around. It's in a real big bend. New Orleans is in a big bend. That's why it's flooded like it is. It's a big pot, so to speak.
Okay, they want this realism. I absorbed it for years. Working a House of Blues on the New Orleans House of Blues and doing a lot of the work inside, it was just like a door opening. Hopefully, it will make a better person out of me from life's lessons. You know, I'm glad I got to help people instead of all the people that were hurting people.
Please.
Now this is the Mississippi River, and there's another canal in here. You see that bridge over there?
Yeah.
It's over what they call the Industrial Canal, and that's what busted on this end, the Ninth Ward. That's what flooded the Ninth Ward.
So how did you almost die? You said you almost died.
Oh, I'm just saying, like, well, when the 4 black cops jumped out of a stolen white Escalade Cadillac pickup truck that they took from Sewell, Cadillac would be one of the first premonitions of dying. They were just out thugging, man.
They just tried to beat a 65-year-old guy to death 3
Dude,
days ago. School teacher
that's normal bullshit down there. That's what happens to you.
Yeah, I heard the Cadillac was real bad.
He should
There
be.
there isn't really.
4 of them that stole a white one come beat my ass, and that's how I'm gonna figure out who whipped my ass. I looked that guy in the eye like a long time. I got up in his face after he got done whooping on me and shit. And I had witnesses too, man. There's just so much wrong, man.
Oh yeah.
It's a mess, man. And the Sunday morning after I left New Orleans, the second week, they showed Snug Harbor in the Frenchman Street. They were walking around talking in there about everything, and I'd give them plywood to board their stuff up with my forklift and shit, you know. And I was like, look, there's my plywood and all. And then it switched to my Be Nice or Leave sign, and then it switched to Gate Mouth playing the viola. And he had his little death thing on the TV, and I was like, well, that's cool. I can accept that. He died doing what he does. I damn near died doing what I do. Just stuff like this makes me stop for a minute, like hearing those riffs, you know. Because I'm running like scalded dog. You know, I got no roost, got nowhere to land. Got my thing going in Memphis, but that's just like, what happens when that's over? How do you, at 50-something years old, pick your ass up off the ground with no money in your pockets, you know? And the economy's not allowing people for frivolities like hand-carved freaking gators.
could sell that shirt for about enough to get another van. Is that really signed by him?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I signed it the year before he died.
That's it. 2001.
He was signing signatures. I asked him to date it as well.
Oh, no.
Well, I was down at the House of Blues in Orlando, and I got introduced to Howard through Beverly, and he said he forgot his cane. I said I gave him one, and so I gave him a cane, and Beverly came back later and gave me a T-shirt.
Nice.
So the next year, I went to Howard Finster Fest, and I got him to sign it. That's another part of the hat. So I do one more, and I've got something like that. When it's scorching it gives it a different color even. I mean, plus it goes in there. I used to melt plastic spoons and forks. 5 years before I found my budget.
I got a story to tell you, bro.
Okay. You're right on the water, too.
Fucking ground zero, bro. They nailed my ass. My primary home is the bottom half of it's gone. The shop made out of it. And the studio's okay. A lot of cleanup, just a lot of wind damage and shit. But the building stayed up, and anything along the river was dry. You know, the old parts of the city, anything along the river was dry, high and dry. Count hour to hour, brother. It ain't even day to day yet.
How you doing? Where you at? What you doing?
I've been down. I just got back up here. I've been down. I've been back home cleaning up and helping folks. You know, doing what we can to get something happening. You know.
So I thought, heck, it might be a good time to just move on down there.
You know, in a few months, yeah, it will be. In a few months.
In a few months.
They got to get it cleaned up, bro. It's a big mess right now.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you'd come in here and imagine every one of these fucking trees on top of you.
Yeah.
That's everywhere. It ain't trees, it's fucking homes, you know. You know, and the water issue, man, everything, you know, you got. Imagine 200,000 refrigerators sitting on the street. That's some stinky shit.
What? Little McGee back there hanging up. Don't be messing with the custom.
I'm just trying to hustle, sir.
Be there then, here and now game. You must be there then, at least do it here and now. And we have a taker approaching the first bag. And you're just out of the 220 area. Just out.
Looks like to me I'm hit.
It's got to be all the way.
You got to be able to see the line underneath the back of it. Y'all see the line?
You don't want video replay on that?
The video replay. If you were just out on the front, you could knock it in with another one, but 3 bags left. You're in pretty good shape. Whoa, he rolls one in. Rolls one in. 220. Yeah, he's still on what, 118? 118.
2 bags left, and we need 118 along with her.
You have an opportunity to win on 3 different levels. You can exceed the weekend high score of 1,077 and possibly win a big prize. Or you can become the closest person to almost win, but not quite. To do that, you would have to exceed 486, but be under 500. Or you can just break 500 and be happy with that. Being as not a lot of people have. Yeah. Okay. You don't have to get exactly 500. You just need to go over.
157, which is like the mystery square. The mystery is not actually 157. It's 135.
You could still break 1,077 with 1 bag.
And how would I go about doing that?
I can't tell you that.
Oh.
If I told you that, it would negate the ability to do that. For example, you could call a specialty shot and say, well, I'm going to set the bag right up here and make it sit here. And if you did that, then you'd get lots of points. But you can't do that now because I just told you that.
Do it. Just believe in yourself. You used to believe in me. I believe in my own.
But you do get 32 points for a leaner.
Okay.
We have a winner. Yeah. Everybody clap.
I usually only give a choice between 2 prizes, but I'm going to give you a choice between 3 prizes. You can have this really cool Mighty Beans wallet, which is zipperable and velcroable from the inside. This handy dandy wool cap, which is actually fleece lined. Or
for this little mystery He-Man. Fill him up his left foot, and he automatically urinates when he pulls his pants down. Very exciting.
Which one should I get?
There's no context. You have to ask yourself. Number three.
I mean, he
Oh no.
Yes, sir. How can I help you, help me, help you into a nice rocket ship today? You know, I lost a bunch of my tools. I said, gotta get comfortable with getting new stuff. Somebody gave me, as a Roadmaster, somebody gave me that frame, and I bought the 8-track player off of eBay. And I built the whole bike around it, and then somebody, you know, I bought the 8-track, and then somebody gave me the red frame. It's like, oh, here we go, man. There's so many. If they have another jazz fest that they're working at, it'll be like a big reunion. Everybody will be like, where have you been? You know, I've been here, this, you know, what's your story? It'll just be a hell of a network going on there. You know, and if they have it, I'll be there. I'll go back, I'll say, hey, and I won't be living there, but I'll go to be part of that. It's like everybody's got a story. Everybody's got a story. You know, anybody who lived through it, anybody who knows somebody who went through it, anybody that's going to go there to see it. It's like cool. Our house phone got disconnected, Bell South totally dropped the ball. Yeah. I had to know forever, and trying to set up a message service like a virtual link. Yeah. They screwed up so bad. It's like, y'all are in Atlanta. Yeah. You didn't get affected by a hurricane. Why are you messing me up so bad? It's like, oh, you know, all of that. It's like, so we canceled all of that. And
Kenmore rocket, huh?
1952 Kenmore Commander model. I know because I wrote a letter to Sears one time and asked them to date it. They sent me back the catalog page from 1952 with it in there. It was great. It's like they put me in their newsletter to their employees and showed one of my rocket ships. It's like, you won't believe what this guy's doing with Sears Kenmore products.
That's great.
I just couldn't believe. I mean, he lived in it. No, you can still see it. Yeah, there's well, I don't know about now because the refineries on Tulane, and the water was about 3 or 4 feet in the street. I went back last week to visit friends and in that area. So on the first floor, but you know, like it says 100% pure, you know, made with Mississippi River drinking water. Yeah, it's like, that's not quite 100% pure, so now it might be Dixie chunky style. Bush flew over my place at 150 feet unescorted. Man, what a trip that was. Come right in, treetop tall, man, unescorted. There wasn't nothing in the sky, man. Man, it was just so crazy down there.
Not working out, eh?
I got to think my ass. That's what it stands for. Yeah, I got 8 feet of water. Now I got it. They were like, is your house livable? I was like, yeah, for fish. That's literally how the cats survive. I think they're eating fish out of our living room. Now where you go? Don't let them exploit you!
Yeah, yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Because like, Katrina hit, but look, we still down here. The white people, the black people, it don't matter what race you are, we still down here. We still surviving down here. That's how it is down here.
It's all gonna be all right. You know? If I drop dead tomorrow, I'll live my life. As old Lightning Hopkins said, I had my fun. There's things I can't correct. You know, I was gonna have to deal with that at the bottom of the line. You know, there's things I can't change.
Let's make a movie about each other making a movie.
Wow. All right, listen. You're going to have to get out of Dodge. This town ain't big enough for the both of us. Either you make your movie or I make my movie.
Shoot! And we're both shooting.
That's what I'm talking about.
Nice. Thanks, Lonnie.
Okay, thank you, my friend.
You got it.
I make sure mine was still going too. Hey, battery power is what we're going on here now.
Whoa. Whoops. Yeah.
Oh, see what I'm talking about?
You got it. You know, it's always something.
But it's all over now. It's time to go.